Hey guys, Kevin Keene here with Sounds to Live By, and today we are going to be talking about a songwriting element that is super important if you want to write songs that draw attention. And that element is contrast. We have to have contrast in our songs, and let me give you a little example of why. So in all of design and art and architecture, paintings, all these elements have contrast. Black and white is the highest contrast you can have from one thing to another, but it also draws the most attention. So if we look at the things that draw our eye, it's usually elements of contrast. If everything in the room is white, it may be appealing to some, or if everything in the room is dark black, it may be appealing to others, but with the use of contrast, you can really bring and draw people's attention to certain areas of design and art and music. So we're going to talk about 3 things today that you need to think about while you're writing your song and try to employ contrast in all these areas. The first area you want to look at to employ contrast is in your melody. And let me tell you a couple examples of how that can work. One, you can make sure that there's ascending and descending melodies in your song. I was in a co-write yesterday, and we were working on a song. It's a worship song, and the chorus melody just goes, here it is, you can have it. It goes up at the end of the line. You can have it, you can have it. So we were talking about the pre-chorus leading into the chorus, and we realized quickly we need to probably have a descending line, because if the chorus keeps repeating an ascending line, we don't want to do that in the pre-chorus. And so we don't have lyrics for it yet, but we were toying with the idea of having a line that descended, where it was like da 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 da. It just kind of went down the scale, so that once we go into the here it is, you can have it, it gives the brain something different to latch onto. It notices, oh, there's a contrast there. That's interesting. That just gave me a break from what was already happening and helped me to get into a different awareness of where the song is going. Another way you can employ contrast and melody is if you have a happy poppy song. Maybe the whole thing is poppy. Maybe you throw in like a measure or two of just a little somber, reflective melody line. You know, if you're grooving along and it's just upbeat, happy, windows down, you could keep that the whole time. That's great. But maybe on a quick turn or maybe a bridge, you get more reflective and it gets a little bit more somber. It gives the brain a break. It helps the person be more interested. So that's melody. Look at those areas. See if there's an ascending and descending element to your melody. And then also look to see if you can throw maybe a different mood or vibe in the middle of your song and a turn or something, kind of just to draw out some contrast. The next thing we want to look at is your lyrics. So lyric can have contrast. Lyric is a great area to throw a little mystery. You could, I have this one line in the song I wrote when I was like 16, so it's a little cheesy. I wrote it for the girl who's now my wife, and I played it for her 15 years ago, so it worked. It might be a little cheesy. But for this example, to use contrast in your melody, there's a line in that song that says, January air fills my lungs, but it's all right, my heart keeps me warm tonight. So you have the element of, we're outside, it's cold, January air, I'm cold, but my heart keeps me warm. That's just a simple example, but there's a lot of ways you could do this. Something with this that you do have to be careful about is to avoid cliche. So like, silence is deafening. That's a really good use of contrast. However, pretty cliche. So you have to be careful not to use contrasting lyrics that have already been used, especially because they're interesting, but you want to use something that's unique and different and genuine to you. So look at your lyric and see if there's any way you can employ contrast there. The next element I want to talk about is the performance of the song. So you have your melody, you have your lyric, you have the literal performance of the song. When you play it live, when you play it for people, you want to make sure you use contrast in your performance. You want to have dynamic, you want to have rise and fall in your song. You don't want to play the same intensity the whole time. You don't want to be strumming hard on a guitar or hitting the piano hard the entire song, unless it's a really, quick song that you're wanting to make a point. If it's kind of an angry song and you're like, I'm going to just hammer through this, but it's short and then it's going to be over, like a punk rock, type vibe where you're angry, you're saying your thing, and you're out. But otherwise, in generalities, you want dynamic. You want to build something up and drop it and then sing quiet. You want to try to bring to a point of a climax in a chorus or a bridge, and then fall back down. You want to do something to provide contrast in the performance of your song. So take these tips, look at your melody, your lyric, and your performance. Make sure you're employing contrast in those areas so that your song can really bring definition and clarity to the listener. Another resource I have for you is I developed this PDF guide called the Killer Melody Checklist. It's just a 5-point checklist that will help really look at your melody and say, is this the best it can be? And that's below. You can download it in the description below, and go to that link, download the PDF, and put your melody to the test. See if it holds up against those 5 points. I believe it'll help you. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and comment below. Let me know what you think about these tips, these areas to employ contrast, and give me some examples how you use contrast in your songs. We'll see you next time.